Welcome to part 2 of Tom Gets His Shit Together for a festival, NYX Festival, happening next weekend, not this weekend, up in Cairns. In this series I'm going through the process of my preparation, how I go about getting my tunes ready to perform in a live set using Ableton Live. Yesterday we went through this original track, audio track, which has all of my tunes on it, and separated them into prog, silly and sigh. So this is the pool. Get my Australian on, my pool, and then put them into these categories. Had to listen to some of these tracks, kind of had to think about how I might structure it. Still have no idea. That's what we're going to be doing in this video. One thing I did do off camera is I did warp all the tracks correctly. For some reason I've lost all my warping. You'll see these ones are all unwarped. Anyway, that didn't take too long, but I kept that off stream. I've got my coffee. This could take a while, or it could be quick. Sometimes it can be a long time. I'm thinking that I'm going to be playing more of this, just maybe 20 minutes of this, then maybe 40 minutes of this. So 40, 20, 40. I do have a 90-minute set. I was going to go 30, 30, 30, but I think I'll just have a 20 minutes of silly. We'll see how it goes. First thing, I'm going to just drag, what am I going to do? Let's group these together into a track and we'll rename these as potentials. And I'm just going to drag them, I'm going to drag these decks up next to the stems. So the decks just serve as two audio tracks that I can just drag and drop from the potentials. And this way I can just kind of zigzag my way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just get an idea of timing and to make sure everything works. Now the first thing I need to do is I want to open with this tune and I want to finish with this tune, but these tunes I have not finished writing. They'll be coming up in the next few videos, me getting these prepared. So if you're not into organizational housekeeping streams, maybe you might want to skip this one and wait until we get into some production. But anyway, this is part of it. I'm going to do the whole process just so you can see the reality. So this one I want to start with, and we're going to be starting at we'll start at 135 BPM. Now I'm going to drag this into deck 1. Even though this track is completely blank, it's just a placeholder. And let's just arbitrarily say roughly 7 minutes long, so that's good enough. So let's just say that is track 1 and that's how long it's going to be. Let me just extend my loop markers out a bit here. Just make this massive. Pro tip technique there. And don't want you guys to see my Facebook. That would be bad. Close that down. There we go. Back on. So that just means I can zoom out. So that is the first track, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly pinpoint the, what do we say, 40-20, or it'll be 40-20-30, won't it? So at roughly an hour, which is 60 minutes, I'm going to do a automation of the song tempo. So let's just say here, I'm just going to stick to a grid line to keep it easy. And I'm just going to edit this value to be, we're going to go up to 145. So this may be a slow transition, or it may be a fast transition, I'm not sure yet. But the reason I've done that now is because that does affect the timing of what happens later. So you'll see if I get rid of, you see where 90 minutes is now. If I get rid of this point, 90 minutes is now moved across because 145 BPM is faster. And that kind of means now I can put this one, which I also want to be roughly 7 minutes long. So let's just drag this back into deck number 2. And we'll just make it as long as this one here, roughly. Okay, and now we can drag that all the way down. I don't actually know which side this is going to finish on, but it doesn't really matter. This is way too big now. Oh man, come on. Off to a bit of a fiddly start. Let's go 500. Even that's way too much. I may have made a mistake. Okay, so all I want is 90 minutes to be zoomed in here. For some reason it's thinking there's stuff all the way down to the right, but whatever. So now we can drag this back to just say here to be safe. So now I've got those start and end points. I kind of need to go through these tracks and figure out which ones I'm going to play and which ones I'm not going to play. Now, even though I've got 3 categories, I still need to kind of subdivide them. So the prog one, I'm going to start more prog and finish a bit more minimal tech. So things like mind gobbies, bubble butt, they will come at the end of the phrase. And yeah. So what do we got here? Let's have a quick listen. There's going to be a lot of listening in this video. Again, it's very casual, by the way, so I'm going at my own pace. Okay, let's just skip back here. So we're playing at 135. I'm not sure if I want this one. I think I do. I'm gonna mark that. We're gonna go purple for prog and we'll go yellow for techie. I'm just gonna call it now. I'm not gonna play this one. It's gone. Lymph node, definitely want to play that, so we'll mark that yellow because it's more techie. Techie, I mean, it's not. It's maybe a bit more serious than more melodic. Soggy toast. That could be a good proggy one. Evolver. You know what? I'm not going to play this because I can't find the stems, which is a real shame. I can't find the original project and I can't find the stems. They might be on a hard drive somewhere, but yeah. So unfortunately, that's gone.
That's it. Work.
Switch arms, bit of a good one. Make that yellow. Feral frame shift. I don't really think I have the stems. Do I have the stems for this? No, I don't have the stems for this either. This is a good old track. I might keep it in there because there is this part here. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll if I don't have the stems, I'll just kind of grab some interesting parts from the breakdown and overlay them over another track. It's a bit weird. But it does go into a triplet. Really thought I had the stems of that anyway. Let's just mark that as black. That just means we may use some parts of it later. Never Stop Believing. That could be a good one. It depends on what stems I have for this though. I've only this is terrible. No, unfortunately the stems for that are no good as well. So you're gone. Or lack thereof. It's another one I don't have the stems immediately available for. All the way. This is a good one. So I'm going to mark that as, what do we say for prog? Was it yellow or purple? I'm even going to go as far as to say this is going to be the next track. So we'll drag that down into deck 2. Just an assumption there. We may change that. I would like to beef this one up, so I do have all the stems for this. This is 127 BPM and I'm at 135, so I definitely do want to go and add a new bass line. At the moment it's free pitched, but you can just hear everything's pitched up a bit, so it's lost a lot of the low end. So we'll need to revisit that a little bit. I'd like to play the opaque because it's kind of just, it's quite a personal track for me, considering it was my first real prog track, and I still think it really slaps. So the issue is, see, we're almost at 15 minutes already. Anyway, Sandy flange. Let's just lose that. It's not chunky enough. Oh, that's a hard one. Look, I'm just going to mark that purple for now. We might have to do a few runs through this. 1 in a Million. Again, good track. Quite easy to add stuff over the top of. You know, so I mean, just as an example, what I was talking about before, if we were to chuck this in here and just put the play marker of this to here, get them both playing at the same time. See what I mean? So, yeah, Epsilon Blue. Where were we here? Let's keep that in as the prog. Devastated Septum, definitely play that one. Tech. Daisies, that should probably be in Silly. Oh god, Hyperion, we need to play that as well. Okay, so you can see the problem that is happening here. Too many tracks that I want to play. And then there's Girth, which is 18 minutes long. And it's kind of my most recent track. This is at 126. And we can always set it to start here. We don't have to do the big intro. That kind of knocks off a couple of minutes. And we could probably cut off some of the end as well. I think this could be a good transition between the two different styles, so the prog and the more minimal tech style. Anyway, let's keep that. Tipping Point, I don't think I'm going to play this. It's a bit too epic. It's you know, it's a bit too kind of 90s mainstream trance on the drop. It's quite weak sounding compared to the rest. You can see the waveform's smaller. I could probably beef that up. But we're at the stage where we just need to cut something if it's no good. Psy-Curious, this is a tricky one because I do like this, and it's a bit of an oddball one to drop in there. I think we'll drop that into Silly, because the Silly stuff I'm going to do real quick cuts. I'm not going to play whole tracks. Okay, so that's some sort of progression. So we've got this one, and then all the way if I want to beef it up. Let's have a look at our purple ones here. This one's pretty epic as well, but it might suit the party. Fuck it, you know what, I'm going to play it. I'm just going to drag it in here now. In fact, Yeah, let's just drag it in, and what we'll do is just kind of do a rough estimate of where I might mix this in. So obviously we've got both of the bass and the kicks fighting with each other at the moment, but we just have to deal with that in this stage. I think that'll be a good transition. Then what I do is I go ahead and I just push 0 to deactivate the clip to say that I played it. I should do it all the way across the sky as well. Well, this is going to be a tricky one, guys. Where is all the way? There it is there. So we're up to 22 minutes already. Antics, you gotta go. Sorry. Sorry, Barton. Sorry, Hayden. It's just not high energy enough. 1 in a million, I think, has to go as well. Oh, hang on. Hyperion is definitely in the check phase. That's going to be the transition track. Let's have a listen to the end of this. Might work with the opaque. So the opaque has quite a big intro. This is when the kick comes in. This is all warped fucked. Yeah, it's not looking too good, is it? Have I picked the wrong BPM or something? Oh, the play is there. Should be there. Maybe it's the opaque that's all wrong. Sorry, I kind of warped these in a rush, so I might be completely off. Yeah, I think I'm off. What the hell? What's going on here? Definitely starts on the kick. Maybe I just have to manually adjust this. This should be okay. I think this is off. That's fine. It's definitely this one. Did I write this at a really weird BPM? It's so old. I don't even know. Oh, maybe I'll just do a manual adjustment. Which isn't too ideal. Hopefully the stems are okay. I've played this before quite a few times, so I don't think we're going to run into any issues. It doesn't really matter in this layout stage. It's just I might, once I finish laying these tracks out, I'll probably do some very basic EQing and render it, and then I can go for a walk and listen to the set. Okay. So what are we up to here? We're up to 30 minutes already. Shit. Am I not going to be able to play silly stuff? Why do I write tracks that are so long? I'm going to lay out the prog stuff how I would like it to go. And if it's way too long, maybe we can do some culling. I mean, of course, you know, I don't have to play the tracks in their entirety. I can cut pieces out. I can make bits shorter. It's just a little bit tricky. Get rid of that. Gonna get rid of that. I think we just have to go for girth now. And so we could make this part here. I know that's quite a sudden change, but we're not. We'll fix that up when we get to the stems, creative ways of getting all these tracks. You know, I have access to all the elements of the track, so let's just chuck an EQ3 on here anyway. Audio effects. This might actually work quite well. Anyway, let's skip ahead a bit. I mean, we could remove this part, but I like it. And then I think that we can leave it here. Let's just chuck the Hyperion in there. Oops. Needs to be there, I think. So this is going to work, but we're already at 40 minutes. I think that's a good transition though, because that's quite a definitive. I am going to change the base of girth, considering we've pitched it up by fucking 9 BPM. We'll also probably need to do the same for Hyperion, but that's okay. This is all stuff we can do. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to play silly stuff. I think this is just going to be a good old back to the roots prog into sci sesh. Let's go for Mind Gobbies next. Let's get rid of the intro. This will be a fun mix once we get all the elements sorted. But we're going to do an abrupt cut here.
Again.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just assume we're not doing silly stuff. And I'm going to see how that feels once we get it laid out. So, oops, don't delete, just disable. What comes after Mind Gobbies? Probably Switch Arms. I've got to put that Quanta Loop track in there too. I think I'm going to have to remove something like Soggy Toast, I think.
Switch arms. Switch arms. That's it. Work it.
Okay, let's lose that. Guess we go Devastated Scepter next.
You are so forthcoming and
By the way, this happens every time. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do 30 minutes of this, 30 minutes of that, and then I'm just like, fuck, I've got 6 hours of music here that I want to compress, you know. And you can go down the kind of quick edit medley route, but don't know if we want to do that.
Now switch arms. Now switch arms. Now switch arms. Now switch arms. What?
Definitely going to have to work on all the basses and kicks for these because I'm playing them quite fast. I like them fast, but they were written a bit slower. But that's alright, that'll be another video. And then, you know, we want to get up into our full on here. Okay, let's just have a look through the prog lane. This Quanta remix, we're going to have to sacrifice something. I'll do that after I've actually finished or got the track to the point where I want to play it, because this one is by far the track I've spent the least amount of time on. To be honest, I'll probably drop Soggy Toast, I think. So this will probably replace this, and then Feel Frame Shift, we were going to pinch something from. Oh, this is a good track too. We'll just leave that in there. We'll just leave that in there too. So, of course, this is all subject to change. But let's just say for now that is good. And of course now our BPM is moved up to the 145. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of that. Go back to our decks here. And I wanted to do the transition using where are we? This one here. So let's just paste this in for now. It's got quite a big intro, but that's alright. Let's just pitch this up to 145. I mean, I'm already 2/3 of the way through my set here. Okay. Good transition point. I think Schwack might be a good next one. That's quite a big intro, so maybe that'll work. Okay, that's cool. Now the thing with Schwack, I mean, fuck, nearly at the end, I'm just gonna have to lay this out how I want it, and then do some culling, cut some bits out, cut some sections out, I think. The silliness can be in the sigh. So, for example, is this all warped badly? Yes, it is. What have I done? Does this need to be here? That'll do for now. It doesn't really matter. And in fact, we've only got one more track if we really want to adhere to the time.
It's an hour and 5 minutes since I was given.
I'm going to cut that part out. So.
Subjects in this trial are not only taking.
It's just going to cut it like that for now. So we've done that and that. What else have we got in here that I really want to play? This would be nice. We've played that. I'm not going to play third nipple. These two could be quick cuts, so we may be able to squeeze those in. So basically these two are the only two we've got left on the side. They're comical, you know, they're slapstick ones.
Your brain can't even process the information. Part of this can wear that.
What I did for Twisted Frequency Festival was, you know, with the AI language learning, actual spoken language models now, I just got Jerry Seinfeld to say some shit about that particular party, which I thought was pretty clever. So I might do the same. So if I can cram them in somewhere, that'd be good. But pretty much for now, that's our set, and that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I'm going to stop here because I need to think on this for a while now. So you can see these are the kind of problems I have. I have this problem every single time, but it always works itself out in the end, whether I have to condense stuff or pull some tracks out. I mean, girth might not be appropriate. It's got no snare. It's a good track though. And I'm really looking forward to making that more speedy. I mean, we could put a snare in it. So, I told myself I'd never do this, but let's do it. Let's just pinch a snare from somewhere else. And sluzziest you'll do. Adds a bit of flavour to it, eh? Anyway, not sure. But I'll finish this up here. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tracks. And remember, we're probably going to replace Soggy Toast, which is fine. Now, just before I finish, like a good check is, in my mind, there are tracks which are good, and there are tracks which are great as far as dancehall goes. And I think the theory is it's good to not have lots of great or good tracks in a row. It's good. It's ideal to go good, great, good, great, good, great will work. Or good, good, great, good, great, good, good, great. But the new also applies as well. So these two and the Contour remix are new tracks. So they kind of fall into the great category, even though the remixes might not be great because they're new. This might be subjective to me, but because they're new, there's something that are a little bit more impactful than classic tracks. So I kind of like to go through and see, like, old tracks is kind of falls into that category as well. Let's say regular and other tracks. So this would be an other, then a regular, then a regular, then an other, because it's quite old. And then a regular, other, regular, regular, regular. So I've kind of got 3 regular tracks there in a row. If that kind of makes sense, maybe I need to think about how to explain this a bit better later. It's just kind of breaking up the flow, and it's a me thing. It is a subjective thing because I want to feel like there's always something interesting coming up. And as much as I do love the old tracks that I've played over and over again in various different shapes and forms, if there's 3 in a row, if there's going to be 20 minutes in a row of stuff which doesn't enthuse me as much as it possibly could, therefore the energy I project is going to be a bit different, which will affect what I do live, which will affect my mood, basically. Perhaps it doesn't appear that way from the perspective of somebody who's dancing, but it's important for me to. It's almost like a fatigue management type thing, or like audio stagnation management type thing. So one way to solve that is if I go through this and say, okay, well, I've got 3 tracks which I've heard a million times before, is to go, okay, well, I'm going to completely change mind gobbies. I'm going to pull out the kick and the bass and I'm going to turn it to a breakbeat track, or I'm going to, just because that mind gobbies has a pretty continuously slow, steady bass line. And it's quite rumbly as well. Maybe I just rip that out and put a triple dug, fugaduga, 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 something like that. And then it becomes, what did I say? Like a not regular track? I can't quite remember. Anyway, so these are all the things I need to think about. It's quite nice sharing this openly, and I don't think I've talked about how I personally go through constructing a live set before. You just have to keep in mind as well that this is still an early stage, so we're massaging the shell of what the set is going to be. This could all change. This could all be totally flipped up on its end. This is kind of my first attempt at how I see the flow going for this particular time slot, for this particular party. Okay, that'll do for this video. In the next video, we will revisit this once more after I've had a think and a listen. And my goal is by the end of the next video, we have an absolute fixed progression of what I'm going to play track for track. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how the set's going to sound, because I want to do something for every track live. I want it to be different in some way, whether it's the structure or I have some stuff to play. I've got the push 3, I've got MPE, I've got all this new technology that I can use now. So that'll be fun, and that'll be in probably the video after that, is mucking around on the push 3 and seeing what we can do to add to these tracks to give them a little bit more something. There'll also be some videos on working on these tracks, including the Contour remix, which I may end up doing live streams for. I feel like that might be a little bit more appropriate because they could be incredibly long videos, and the live streams I can kind of go at my own pace a bit more. We'll see how that goes. My goal would be by Wednesday I want to have this complete. Today is Friday. But this is my top priority and I have nothing else to do. Anyway, stop talking, Tom. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.